weekend and have once again endured the loss of another hour of life. That's awesome, right? Anyway, thanks for checking in for another Flock Talk. Hey, we're just a couple weeks from Easter and still in the midst of a fear-infused COVID world. So I want to take a few moments and remind us of something I think is fundamental to our lives today. That's the call of Jesus to discipleship. I want to go back for just a few moments to the very beginning of that call, the first call of the first disciples. The gospel writer Matthew records it this way. One day, as Jesus was walking along the shore of the Sea of Galilee, he saw two brothers, Simon, also called Peter, and Andrew, throwing a net into the water, for they fished for a living. Jesus called out to them, "Come, follow me, and I'll show you how to fish for people." And they left their nets at once and followed him. Now, you're probably thinking, why is Tim reflecting on this scene as we draw near to Easter? That'd be a good question. So let me address it. We have now been under the oppression of government social restrictions for over a year now because of health concerns. And while most of their rhetoric is specifically designed to justify these conditions by compassion or concern for other people around us, it's really grounded in fear for personal safety and protection if we're really honest with ourselves. So as we approach Easter, I think we have to remember that Jesus came to call people to follow him, a call that placed them in danger, socially, politically, and spiritually. However, that danger was not a present concern until they actually started fishing for people. Now, while I can only speculate as to what the Lord's been saying to you over the past year, one thing he has been saying to me for sure is that a fisherman's not really a fisherman unless they're fishing. And a follower of Jesus is not really following Jesus unless they are doing what he did. So can I ask you a question? What are you doing today that Jesus did as he walked this dirt 2,000 years ago? Well, I want to remind us today that it was the power of Jesus' resurrection, the indwelling presence of the Holy Spirit, that sent the first disciples into the world actually fishing for people. They studied the Word together, ate together, worshiped together, served their community together, and shared the gospel with people individually together. Now, did they experience trouble in the process? You bet they did. Did they share in the sufferings of Jesus as they shared the gospel through the power of his resurrection? You better know it. But that's what they were called to do. They were called to be fishers of people. Now, we'll be celebrating Easter this year in a couple weeks. I want to ask you, do you remember how you celebrated last Easter? I do. I was in an empty building talking to a camera like I'm doing now, filled with fear, frustration, and confusion. It's a year later. Now there are over 500,000 people in our nation who have died, and whether or not it was from COVID or something else, they're gone. So while we're debating statistics, people are still dying and will continue to die, and that's going to be a constant reality. The only variable, I think, in this whole situation is this: are we going to do any fishing? For people, that is. My friends, it's a fundamental question. And it is still what Jesus is calling us to do, even as we celebrate this Easter. You ready to get back to following him in the power of his resurrection? I know you are, and I look forward to being a part of it. God bless you. Love you all. See you soon.